Toxic masculinity.
Okay, so
We have a couple super chats.
Oh, we have more super chats. All right, so I think that was our last story of the day.
Yeah.
So why don't we just get into into the Q&A section altogether now?
Okay. Question from Salty GD Coach.
Sure. I don't know how to pronounce that. You're gonna have to You're gonna have to write it phonetically for us one of these times.
Koch.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you talking literacy testing?
Literacy testing. So what he's talking about is another way that Democrats used to try to stop black people from voting.
Another super chat from him. The literacy testing is a reference to low info vote.
Yeah, I know what he's saying. Yeah. So in the old days, you used to have these literacy tests, which was another way of stopping black people from voting, because because a lot of black people couldn't read, and so they would say, okay, in order to vote, you have to take this literacy test. You know, make sure you can read, and that was basically a way of weeding out a lot of the black people so they wouldn't be voting. No, I'm not insisting on a literacy test. Well, again, I don't think that we should have any tests or anything like that. I mean, the ID, yes, I think we should have voter ID, but no test, nothing like that. There shouldn't be any like laws about this. I just think that we should encourage people who are high information voters to vote, and we should find a way to discourage the Democrats. You notice the Democrats always have these plans to bus in tons of voters to the voting booth, or like now they don't have to do that because they have the mail-in voting, but they're always looking for ways of getting people who don't have any real knowledge about politics or any interest in voting, and just encouraging them to go vote, because they know that people who don't have any knowledge about politics, they're very low information. One, they're more likely to vote Democrat, and two, they are very malleable. You can basically just tell them who to vote for and they'll do it. A lot of schemes that the Democrats have used over the years have been like basically paying people to go vote, or bribing them. We had this scandal in 2020 in some places. I think there was an Indian reservation that was doing this. But anyway, Democrats will use any scheme they can to get low information voters in to vote, especially people who don't speak English. They're just absolutely scandalous when it comes to just trying to sneak in more and more and more votes that, from people that really should have no place voting. You don't have any place voting if you don't know the issues. Like, even if you are affected by what's going on, like everybody's affected by what's going on. Everybody is affected by who's president, by who's in Congress, and that sort of thing. So everybody definitely should vote, but everybody needs to be educated about what they're voting for. Like, if you think, oh, I better get this person voted in because it's going to be better for me, but you're wrong, and in fact, all your facts are wrong, and that person isn't going to be better for you, this person is, well, then you're not just doing everybody else you're not just doing yourself a disservice, you're doing everyone a disservice, because you're voting for somebody who's worse for everyone, because you just didn't do the research. And so people who aren't willing to actually educate themselves to some degree about issues and about politics, why are you going to go vote? Because some woman came to your door and said, really, you should be voting, we can bring a bus. It's absolutely awful. It's scandalous what Democrats do. They're just con artists. Democrats are criminals. All right, if you're voting for a Democrat, you're voting for a criminal. Sorry, I got so pissed off about Democrats. All right, we have anything else?
I noticed you got pissed off every episode that we're doing in the end of the live stream. You're like, I'm so pissed off.
I do. I always get myself worked up. All right, Valeria.
There is another super chat.
Okay, read us.
From D. Grism. You should really get that hole in your jacket pocket fixed. Dropped another bill.
Oh, what a gentleman. What a gentleman. He's just giving us $10.
Oh.
Yeah. Valeria feels bad. She's like, don't give us money. Yeah. He's a gentleman. Good man.
Did we make $15 an hour? I think we did.
I don't know. I don't know what we're at. But it's nice. It's nice to have. I what I care more about than getting super chats and money is just getting more subscribers and more people viewing the channel.
That's what he said.
Oh, it says my current bit rate is higher than the recommended bit rate, so I'm gonna have to reduce it the next time we do this. Okay, 4,500 it says. So I guess we'll. Yeah, 4,500 it says is the recommended. I've got it at 50,000. So I should probably reduce it a little bit. Let's see here. I'm trying to read more. Do you have anything, sweetie?
No.
This guy wrote, I love Mexico. I've been there many times to surf the waves and enjoy the culture and food. I drove to Cabo at 17 after graduation. Had to show papers in and out. Yeah. I mean, I've been to Cabo. Cabo's great. I've been all over, I've been, I wouldn't say all over the world, but I've been to several countries. And yeah, you have to show ID when you and you travel to different countries. And look, it's critical that you know who's coming in and out of your country, because you want to be able to filter it. You want to be able to say, oh, I see you're a mass murderer. You probably shouldn't be let in, as opposed to just massive amounts of random people coming in that you don't know who they are.
And we have another question.
All right.
Deep Central Field Press. Which will get us first? Immigration, China, DC crazy laws, or internal strife caused by.
Divisive tactics.
Thank you, darling.
I would say that it's tough to say. Okay, so right now I'm trying to figure out who's controlling Biden. That's one of the videos I'm doing. That's what's taking so long with my research. Just like reading about all these hundreds of people, it takes a long time. But the thing is, like, I think maybe the people who are controlling Biden do have some interest in preserving the country. So they're not necessarily globalists in the sense that they want to see the dismantling of the United States of America. And the reason I say that is because coming out of the Biden administration has been recently a little bit more. Jesus is God says all of the above, which is actually a very good answer. But whoever is controlling Biden has seemed to recognize that China is a huge threat, because there has been a little bit more tough talk on China, which is hilarious considering what they were saying before Biden was, elected. Everything was like, China's not so bad. I don't know why Trump hates China so much. China's great. Trump's just a racist. And now they're like, oh, actually, China's pretty bad. It seems to me that the biggest threat to the democracy at the moment is simply the corruption of the Democrats. The Democrats don't really seem to care anything about improving the country, improving quality of life, anything like that, or protecting the country, keeping our military up, making good deals with other countries, stuff like that. They seem to care mostly about having power and having money for themselves. They don't really seem to care about anybody else. All the stuff about, oh, we care about the gays, we care about the blacks, that's all lies. Okay, we know that's all lies. They care about their votes. They care about that, right? So I actually think that the biggest threat to the nation is Democrats' greed. And their hunger for power and their corruption. Because, and the reason I think is the biggest threat is because it looks like what they're doing, especially with like HR1 and a lot of the stuff that I predicted would happen if Biden got elected. They want to make Puerto Rico a state. They want to make Washington, D.C. a state. They want to give amnesty to all these illegal immigrants. They want to reduce the voting age even. They want to do all these things to make it so that no Republican ever is elected ever again to public office in the federal government. And that would be fine if the Democrats were good at politics. If they all cared about the people, if they were decent human beings, I suppose it wouldn't matter which party was in office more. But you really do need to have, and they want to make mail-in voting a permanent thing, the standard. And I guess it wouldn't really matter who's in office. Well, okay, I take that back. It definitely matters. The idea that you are essentially setting the whole election system up so that Republicans can never win again, that in itself is so unbelievably corrupt and creates a situation in which leftists are so unaccountable for anything that they do. They could just do whatever they want. That will inevitably lead to the destruction of the country. So, and it looks like we're heading in that direction. They're going to pack the court. They're going to do all the things that, that seem like they're radical measures that would seem that they would lose favor with the American people. But the thing is, they will lose some favor with some Americans. but they're going to enact so many of these things that it won't matter. That it won't matter. The votes they lose from their dirty tricks are not going to match the votes that they gain from their dirty tricks. So they're going to do all of those things. I bet you they're going to do all these things before 2022 because they need to do it before we can get Republican legislature in, the House and the Senate. And so Democrats are going to basically screw us over just because they're greedy and they're schemy, they're con artists, they're criminals. I think that's actually the downfall of the country. Although all those other things that you mentioned are huge contributing factors. Every single one of these things. Immigration is a huge contributing factor to that. China is a massive problem. And the Democrats just don't have any kind of sense that will correctly... I really want popcorn. That's weird, right? I'm tired, guys. I'm sleepy.
There's one more super chat, and I think we
sorry.
can be done.
I got about 2 hours of sleep last night.
I'm 3.
The fact that I'm functioning at all is just a miracle. Okay, let's move on to the next super chat. Oh, Salty JD Coke. Do you want me to read it?
Yep.
Okay, it's pronounced Coke, he writes. So I was right. I was pronouncing it Coke when I first was reading. I'll now say it with confidence. Salty. I love that guy. I love a lot of these guys. They're great folks. And he says, literacy testing was a joke. Yeah, I did realize it was a joke. I laughed when I first read it, but then I had to explain it to Valeria, and it was a big mess. But I did realize that you were joking. In fact, I intended to tell her that you were joking because I knew she didn't understand. Jesus is God still wants an Aston Cam. We didn't lock him up today.
He's sleeping.
We weren't abusive parents.
He's sleeping.
Because he's sleeping. Yeah, he was sleeping, so we didn't
I
put
was
him
keeping
in the
him
bathroom.
awake the whole day. Like, Aston, I'm awake. You have to be
Were
awake.
you playing with him and stuff, trying to keep him awake?
No, but I was like going around doing stuff, and he
That was
always
just
with
incidental.
me.
It wasn't for the show.
Yeah, because he always follows me around.
He does. He actually physically attacks Valeria sometimes. He does not dare attack me. I'm too big.
He wants attention. He attacks.
Yeah, he wants attack, so he'll...
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall
yeah,
we?
I think we're good. You guys, awesome as always. Thank you so much. We're going to keep posting to YouTube. Of course, we're going to post to YouTube.
Good morning.
We're going to keep posting. We're going to keep posting to the Mr. Reagan channel, getting various videos out on that to get more subscribers here and to just give the Mr. Reagan viewers a little bit more content. But this is where the action's really at these long form live streams. And we love your questions. We love to see you guys on here. So we will see you tomorrow, and you guys have a great night. You want to say goodbye, Valeria?
Good night.
Good night, guys. Toxic Masculinity. Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.